Hey guys, it's Lauren here from Kiwi Rugby Travel Stories. 안녕하세요. 저는 로렌입니다. Anyway guys, as you guys know, I do a monthly vlog on a review that I do. So this month I'm actually giving you guys a bit of an insight on flying to Japan with Jetstar. So Jetstar is one of the low-cost carriers that actually fly out of Australia. So it gives you guys a bit more of an insight of flying long haul out of Australia to destinations within Asia and also America as well. So Jetstar also flies to Honolulu, and they also fly to many Southeast Asian destinations as well. This was actually filmed in September 2016 when I actually went to Japan. In October 2017, I will be actually going back to Japan. However, I will be flying with Qantas. So that's actually a full fare air carrier. So I'll give you guys a bit more of a difference when my holiday does come around. But let's just get on with the Jetstar flight review today. This flight flew out of the Gold Coast Airport. It is approximately a 1 hour drive from Brisbane City or 2.5 hours on the public transport system. This is quite a small airport and there are many international departures leaving from the Gold Coast at the same time that the flight to Japan with Jetstar leaves. I would definitely recommend to check in 3 hours prior to departure to avoid missing your flights, as it gets very crowded and there are long lines whilst going through immigration. With the Gold Coast Airport being so small, it does mean that you will be boarding from the tarmac and not from an aero bridge. I decided to book to fly with extra legroom on this flight. It cost me an extra $25 on top of the airfare. However, as much as it was pretty good value to an extent, I still felt quite uncomfortable in this particular seat, plus the seat did not recline back as far as the other ones did. The takeoff from a Boeing 787 is actually pretty quiet. It's very similar to an Airbus A380. Being on a 787 Dreamliner, it was a very good sensory experience to be involved in on such a modern plane. With the lower cabin pressure and some humidity in the air conditioning, I felt a lot better coming off the plane in Japan, more than I did when I actually flew back to Australia on an Airbus A330, where I felt quite dry and very thirsty. Approximately 90 minutes after we took off, our meals were served. I chose the beef teriyaki with rice and vegetables, and were also served a chocolate mousse and some water as well. Because Jetstar is considered a low-cost carrier, it did mean that you did have to pay for your meal on the flight. You can actually avoid this by actually taking your own food on the flight if you wish to do so, but make sure to dispose it before you land. Tea, coffee, soft drink, juice, and alcoholic beverages cost extra. The beef teriyaki was quite salty, however it was quite a delicious meal. But obviously when they try to make it salty, they obviously are doing that to actually make you purchase water so they can make some more money off the flight. There are 6 toilets on the Jetstar 787. There is one at the front which is used by the business class section only, and the rest of them are used by the economy passengers. If you're really into toilets, obviously this toilet is nothing to write home about. It's just a toilet with some toilet paper and a sink. If you are into all of those fancy creams and other amenities, make sure to bring them with you on board, as they do not supply those, being a low-cost carrier. If you're flying daytime with Jetstar like I was on this particular flight, you will notice that there is no particular shutting of the blinds or a sleep period like there is on some other airlines after meal service during the day. Although that most of the cabin was actually dark during the flight, it was still quite bright and the cabin was still quite active during the flight. The flight attendants were made busy by the passengers ordering more drinks and snacks during the flight as well. At approximately 1 hour before landing, we were then given a pizza-style calzone and also a Tim Tam with more water. As you can see in this shot, I also ordered another cup of tea. This calzone was really delicious and also was quite cheesy as well, which I very much enjoy. And if I got it again, I definitely would eat it again. However, I did feel that being on an 8-hour flight that this calzone just wasn't quite enough for a meal, but obviously it was just considered a snack. I did find that after we landed, I did have to go to the convenience store to buy more rice balls as I was still quite hungry. This Jetstar flight lands at Narita Airport Terminal 3. So this is the low-cost carrier terminal. You will notice that when you actually will be disembarking off the plane, you will be ending up on the tarmac and then up the stairs into the terminal, unlike the other terminals at Narita where you'll actually disembark through an aero bridge. So anyway guys, I really actually hope that you enjoyed that review of flying with Jetstar to Tokyo, Japan. I do actually recommend Jetstar, definitely flying long haul. However, there is a bit of a catch to actually flying with low cost carriers. With all the add-ons that you need to purchase to check in luggage and also have your meals on the plane, it does actually add up. The other catch is that flying with Jetstar, which is a low cost carrier, they predominantly fly out of regional terminals such as the Gold Coast and Cairns to fly to Tokyo. So it does mean that if you wish to actually fly out of such as Sydney or Melbourne or even Brisbane terminals, you will need to actually fly to the Gold Coast or Cairns to actually make your connecting flight. So there is no direct flights out of major terminals. With most of their flights leaving quite early in the day, it does mean that you may need to actually buy accommodation the night prior to get your connecting flight. This does mean that in comparison to flying with a full service carrier such as Qantas or Japan Airways, who do fly direct from Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne terminals, it may actually work out cheaper to fly with a full service carrier who do fly direct rather than a low cost carrier such as Jetstar, who may actually need to connect to a regional terminal to get your connecting flight. So anyway guys, if you actually want to see a more in-depth review about flying to Japan with Jetstar, make sure to actually hit my website www.kiwirugbytravelstories.com, and all the links are down below if you'd actually like to see the full review on flying with Jetstar to Japan. Anyway guys, if you actually really enjoyed my vlog, make sure to like this video and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell as well. Alright guys, I look forward to actually sharing my stories with you guys. Alright guys, bye! Annyeong!